Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Critical times for Bitcoin. Getting a massive dump here, back down to 108,700. I talked about it in my trading group last night. We went over these things. I have a weekly screen share. In the weekly screen share, I went over the fact that Bitcoin looked bearish to me. It did. Looked like it was going to break to the downside out of a head and shoulder pattern. That's exactly what Bitcoin ended up doing last night. Then I woke up this morning, and the first thing I saw was a bear flag. But I said to my trading group, I said, let's watch this 1 minute time frame. There's a chance we get some news here at 8:30, and they spiked the price at 8:30 exactly. Well, I said, let's look for a right shoulder. So what happened was I did an update right here for Bitcoin. So it's just kind of crazy. So last night, I talked about a head and shoulder on the 1 hour time frame that was likely to get a dump to the downside. We'll show you. We'll just break it all down right now. Back in time, right? So last night I saw this and I drew a line and I was like, man, and this is before it dumped, obviously. I said, that's a head and shoulder pattern, everybody. That's likely going to break down, right? And it's going to dump. Right, and we could see that it was going to come back down at least to the previous low. You know, I saw $109,000. You know, I said, because if it's going to go that low, I don't see how it doesn't continue. And we called that last night. I said, it looks pretty bearish to me. I said, there's a chance maybe it could pump, but I said, I said the bears are in control. Looks like a bear flag, rejection by the 200 moving average. If you know me, I'm a long guy. I trade above the 200 moving average. Once we get above it, I take massive longs. Right, when we get below it, I see shorts. You know, I used to short more often, but I've been waiting on this macro Bitcoin uptrend. That's been kind of getting me to be like, yep, because they can squeeze at any moment. So you got to be in and out or know what you're doing or hold it. I mean, the last short, though, from 124,000 was beautiful. You could still be holding it since now. I mean, there was a bearish div. There was some indications that there was going to be a bigger pullback. Right? Bitcoin never lies. The price action's always there. We just have to bend ourselves to finally listen. So will there be a V-shaped recovery? I mean, if you dump this fast, usually you do pump back that up. I don't know. We will see. Let's show you what happened. So that dumped, and then as the morning went on, I'll take you to the 1 minute time frame. And look at this. I mean, you see this? This is a head and shoulder pattern right there. Do you see it? Shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. That wants to take you to the downside. That's likely going to continue to dump here down to $107,000. So I see more downside for Bitcoin right off the bat here, just giving you your analysis right now. Head and shoulder pattern to the downside. Simple as simple does. We're going to break down more from that. But anyway, so this morning, when I start my update, I decide to take a look at the 1 minute time frame because that's what I do. And we get this, right? And I say to everybody, you know, look for this to possibly make a right shoulder and break to the upside. You'd say I was crazy, right? And I said we might get the good data right at 8:30, and then boom, you know, this thing can break on out. And it's crazy. It's exactly what happened. Again, I personally did not trade that. I did not because of the volatility. But when I saw it happen, I was like, wow, it's like 21 above the 200 in the flag. Like my system says that's going to pump, and then we get the news. But it's like, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. It's pretty fascinating to me. So that's just something you could say. And again, buying above the 200, shorting below the 200 moving average. The second we go below it, you flip it upside down just like we long. And it tends to have the same exact reaction either way. And that confirms the downtrend. So now we're in a bit of a doozy here for Bitcoin. And we're going to have to dig our way out of here with some type of bullish div. We do have bullish divergence here. So it could defy my little head and shoulder pattern right there. You are looking for strong bullish div. Now we're looking for the inverted head and shoulder. Like if you're going to reverse, it's more likely we're going to dump, in my humble opinion. Doesn't look good to me. You can almost make it look like a slanted, you know, descender. It just, price action is struggling to make new highs. You've got to read the writing on the wall. We've been bearish for a while. I've been super bearish over and over again. We've attempted to call the reversals, and they've been just, this week was the worst. This week reminded me of a bear market. I have to be honest, because we just couldn't get back above key levels. Like how we just got completely denied by 113,000. Not good. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm open-minded to believe anything is possible. Looks like exit liquidity dump. I see sub 100K early September. Shout out to Mike Reinhardt. We will see. But look, swing up to swing up, swing down to swing down. Can that boost back up here to 109,400? Only time will tell. Yeah. Someone says, why though? Why would we be dumping? I've never asked myself those questions. See, the thing is, when you start trading, you ask yourself why all the time and all this stuff. Once you've been trading for a long time, I mean, the why doesn't really matter because the chart's going to dump no matter what. For instance, the chart said it was gonna pump. You see what I'm saying? The other day. This morning, it was above the 200. I don't know why. And it pumped. You see what I'm saying? And we got the news, and you can say, oh, that's why. And then look at this. I know it's crazy, but look, it made an Adam and Eve. It's hard to see, but there it is. I kind of just see everything. It is an Adam and Eve, even though it's super high. I mean, it's in the digital space and time. And then if that was the Adam and Eve, your neckline, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then you retest the low. Retest the low. You make basically an M pattern here. M's break down 68% of the time. You're kind of making another M here, too. It just, to me, getting more bearish. Getting ready for the liquidations. People getting absolutely flattened here who thought they were keen on the low. And again, I told my entire group it was bear. Yeah. Who was in my group? Did I call the bottom last night? Did I say we had bottomed out? Anybody here say did I call the bottom? Just want to see how many people say, you know. If you were with me last night and you watched my screen share, what did the chart say? What was the chart saying? Anybody out there? I just want to see make sure everybody is on point, right? How does my man look so fresh and dapper this early in the morning? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for being here. May God bless everybody on the stream. And, you know, I found this pocket square that matched this shirt almost so amazingly well. So cool, man. I just love that. It's just something about that. I'm so corny. It's insane, right? But look, bullish divvy. Can we get the bounce? 108,309 for Bitcoin, right? Someone said, yes, you did. Long. No, I did not call. I did not call. My whole point is I definitely said it was. I want to say I'm going to dump. The market told us it was going to dump. The market said there was a head and shoulder and it didn't look good. So go put that suit on, bro. That'll be so fresh. God bless everybody here on the stream. Thank you for jumping on in and appreciate each and every one of you for being here. So more dumpage for Bitcoin, or can we get the reversal? I have to be honest, as I buy the dips every single time. So I would be forced to buy the dip yet again right now. I just, it's just crazy, right? Oh, man. It never ends. Like, when will they make me stop buying the dip and giving me my Christmas presents early? Like red day for Bitcoin. I get so excited. I'm very happy. I'm like, wow, a nice fat red day again. Okay. Have to buy a little more BTC. You know what I mean? Maybe not huge amounts, but I'll definitely take a nibble. Altcoin's still holding pretty well. Hyper liquid at 44. But dang, man, it's like a vicious cycle. A vicious cycle. It looks like we may even get some lower lows here, though, on this, but that's why buying the dip is important, because if you don't buy now, then you probably won't buy 100, and you probably won't buy 80, and you probably won't buy 77. But if I get it, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but if I get in the habit of buying the dip, then there's more likelihood that I will buy the dip when it is the dip. And then I can always be like, well, that was the bottom. I got a piece of that one. You see what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You do what you got to do. We all do what we got to do. We buy a little bit of the dip. Just a piece, right? Looks like we may go lower. I'm not going to go all in. Well, $2,500. And turn this into 2 so these can get this off. And 1.75 Bitcoin, most people will never own that in their lifetime, right? So you got to stay blessed for whatever you have. You got to realize where you are. And you got to say, dear Lord, thank you for everything you've given me in this life. This market can get your emotions up and running. You can breathe heavy, literally. You can start thinking about all the losses, all the pain, and forget everything else in life. You want to throw your mouse at the computer. You want to get sick inside. You're nauseous. This market will make you feel like that time and time and time and time again if you let it. and we get there sometimes, even I do. I'm not going to say we don't. So how do we cope with the market? Because everybody talks about the gains, and everybody talks about the indicator, and everybody talks about this, that, and that. But what about us? What about how we're doing it? What about how we feel? What about how the market interacts with the way our brains are forming? You know, how do we deal with that? How do you deal with the depression? How do you deal with the pain? Who do you talk to when you don't want to tell anyone how horrible you are because you lost all your money like a fool? Or when you got into a meme coin you shouldn't have and overextended and, you know, or over leveraged when there was no reason, right? And there's no one to ask. There's no one to tell it's your own fault, right? You can't turn around and blame. See, the thing is, when we're in the blame game, we're blaming everybody for everything in our lives. We're usually going to lose in trading as well because we're usually not too responsible. And when we're blaming everybody else. And then when we finally lose, we have no one else to blame. You know what I mean? We get to that point where we just know it's our fault. And it hurts so bad. And that's, I think, why trading turned me into a man. Because at one point, like, it's you and trading. And there's no one else you can blame, right? When it comes to you and your trading. So let's take a look at Bitcoin from the bigger picture. But I see more downside. You know, I think it's unlikely we get the reversal, but you never know. I bought the dip. We'll see. But the bulls now really got to show me something. And every time I've said that, we've hit a resistance and fallen short. We've now gone to the 109,000 area that we called when we lost 114K. It said it was very likely. And now the weekly candle looks absolutely horrible. Let's be honest. I can't wait to go look at it. And the monthly candle too as well. And those are both going to close pretty bearish. And so I don't, maybe granting some crazy miracle, but like we got to look at the technical analysis and stop reading what you see people say. I see some of the weirdest posts recently from some of the biggest influencers in the game, from people that do TA, from people that just post and play games. But regardless, they're like, oh, you know, it's going to the moon. Don't worry. It's all the way up. Like everything's going to be awesome. All right. I blame myself for everything, even things out of my control, because it allows me to change my behavior, which is under my control. 100%. 100%. Taking responsibility for everything is the gain. There's a gain in that sense. Once you learn that way, I see more downside for Bitcoin. 107,007 for BTC. And now you got big red at 108. Still got some red up there at 113,000. But you can see all this liquidity here now to 107.5 and below, 107,000. So it does look like we may be going lower here for Bitcoin on the BOOKMAP. So get ready. This is BOOKMAP. It shows you where the liquidity is hiding and what's happening to it. See, on my other computer, I could open this up, but now I can't. I got it. So I just got to, like, whenever I decide to look at the liquidity, for some reason, it slows down. And there used to be like a play button here. It's probably something in my settings that I got to do, but I'm just, at the other one, it was always, I was always able to get it kind of right back in. Anyway. You can still see the liquidity, but it will change in a second. So I just restarted. But whenever I want to zoom in, now I was zooming in on my other computer easily, but I'd so I just got to and that was a brand new setup. So I just got to I got to delete it and put it all back in. I'm probably going to do that tonight. Recycle the super cycle. Everyone just keeps telling everyone it's going to be a super cycle. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. We're going higher. It's kind of crazy. And I start wondering, is this the dragon? Are they trying to tell it, you know what I mean? Or is it the shakeout? And there's no way to tell. So I put what I'm willing to lose, and I move on. And I made sure to take money out of the market. I made sure to build a nest egg. I made sure to get myself completely, slightly sadly diversified away. I've got the BTC I'm going to hold for life, right? And I'm just adding here and there now at this point. Like, the biggest of the stack has been made. It is what it is. You know, I have what I've got, and I'm going to go from there, right? I've got some real estate, some cash flow, and I want to build on some other ways, you know, to generate cash. So, boom. And then use that to generate cash and create more opportunities for other people too, and businesses and create employment, you know, and jobs that people like, that they're empowered, that make them feel like they're going somewhere. Because if you're working with me, I want you to have a dream. It should be a dream to work with me. You should have fun, you know. I don't even call it work. We should be working together. You should be like basically guiding me, and I'll be, you know, and we find our way together. That's kind of how I look at it. Everyone that's so look, possible double bottom off of 108,500. 1085 is a key area. People might just decide, you know what, I'll take a shot there. It might be enough of buy orders to keep us bidded. But dang, there is a bit of a double bottom there. Can we hold now? Let's zoom out. We're going to come back to this in a second. It could be our daily bottom, though, on this double bottom on the one. There's a chance. We're trying to do something that we weren't doing before. There's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance, right? There is a bit of a chance, but it's not a fat one. I'll tell you that right now. And there's trouble in paradise here for Bitcoin. If anything, it looks more like a shoulder, head, right shoulder that wants to possibly go further to the downside. Make it a descending triangle. These things are sketchy. And now we can start to kind of see where we're likely going. And they both kind of match up with the $107,200 level. So to me, it looks very likely that we're going to continue lower, below the point of control and this key area that we've bounced from and that has now become resistance at $109,000. So $109,000 now becomes the resistance, just like it should have been on the weekly there. And we're going to continue to explore these key areas. We've gone over this stuff over and over again for the last, I don't know, 3 to 4 or 5 weeks. I kept saying, are you ready for possible downside? I said, is it okay if it doesn't go your way? And I think people threw tomatoes at me. People said, this guy sucks. He said, what a bear. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I know nothing but the fact of my ignorance. You know, maybe we get the bounce. And we called many a bounce. We did see when there was areas of a bounce. But this was the weakest bounce last week that I've ever seen in a long time. You know, all the other times we got a better reversal. This time, no go, right? So let's take a look at the jobs data that came in. Let's kind of talk about the idea that we will get rate cuts no matter what. Fed Waller talked yesterday at 6 p.m. I got a little bit wind of what he said and got it, you know, also, you know, just got it synopted for myself there. If that's I got a synopsis of it. The idea is this. I mean, he was screaming that they were behind, basically, without trying to say it, saying we need a double rate cut. Like, if they don't double rate cut soon, like, and like, it kind of put pressure on the idea that I felt like they were going to make 2 rate cuts in one. Like, this might actually go all the way to where we think here. So we go to October. And, you know, even though it's not on the board, like, we might get the 375 to 400 in September. Now, it would surprise the whole market. Right now, 50-50 that would happen. You look at December, and there's a 40% chance that we've got, basically, we're here 1, 2, 3 rate cuts. There's a 50, almost a little under 50 that we get 2 rate cuts by December. And I think this could change. I think people don't understand. This increased after what he said last night. I think there was, and then for good reason. I think it should have went up to 96, 97. But I think they got the market in fear, and it's good enough. But 89, I mean, there's going to be a cut, in my humble opinion, on September 17th. I'm almost guaranteeing it, and it might be a double cut. Something that nobody is saying right now, right? Nobody's saying that. Everybody's saying there's going to be no cut at all. I'm leaning towards the fact that we're going to get some surprise double cut. The Fed is behind it. They don't want to look bad. They're cut. So technically, you want this to be dumping, because if we pump into rate cuts, right, then how do we pump? We can't, because price can't be overextended on price action and give us what we want. It just doesn't work. You can't have your cake and eat it too. But what a nasty day, right? They faked it on good news to the upside, caught a bunch of people off guard who ran into longs, and then slaughtered them like like bloody sheep. And this isn't even them. I don't even want to say them. This is how the market works. People do this to themselves. These are people opening up orders that exchanges fulfill, and whales, and you know, you could say it's a whale game, but it's everyone's participating it freely. When you get liquidated, nobody puts a gun to your, nobody makes you do it. I don't want to use that type of language, right? But when nobody makes you do it. So like you decide to get involved in that type of risk, and there's no need of it. There's DCAing into spot, which is always there. You do not have to leverage trade. It's there as a tool. It's used as a tool once you understand how to spot trade. I did not touch leverage. I'm telling you right now, I was in the market for 10 years. I traded fine a 3x ETF on gold, which is a large asset that was highly less risky, comparatively. Trillions of dollar in market cap. You see what I'm saying? And I traded it 3 times Direxion Dable Globally ETFs. And yes, fine. When it went up 3%, I got 9. So yeah, I was trading slight levy there, but I wasn't taking leverage. It was a spot entry that you could trade. You see what I'm saying? It was just like buying any a spot coin. So this looks like bearishness to me. I see more downside here for Bitcoin. I just do. That the market is telling me that it wants to go lower to 107,281. That is the target for BTC. That's our next stop. Okay, and I'm attempting to leave that time frame, but it's been tough, right? So let me take a look at the bigger picture. But I see a head and shoulder forming. I see more downside. Man, that was the top. Was that the top for Bitcoin? For me personally, I'm really strict on my trend lines. And we talked about this. And I said the second this started losing the trend line, I said, no. Like, I said, okay, fine. I'm a support and resistance guy. Like, and I said, fine, you can dabble when we were here. I said, but fine, get back above 114K. We closed below 104. First of all, let's break it down. First of all, the second this candle closed, I told everyone that's not a good look. I said every single time the weekly candle closes next to a red, next to a green, we have some pullback. I said that's not a good sign. You're away from the 21-day moving average. I said there's some bearish divvy here. This swings down, that swings up. I said this tells me that we're going to go sideways inside this thing. If we are going to break out, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 weeks of sideways price action. All right, this was back in July. Boom, we had our 1 week, 2 week, right? And then I said that's a bearish engulfing candle after a fail wick. I said that's bearish to me. I said okay. I said, but you're above this support, right? This here, and maybe people will front run the resistance, which they did, and this wick came to that wick. And so 112,000. I think we called that bottom one morning, Saturday morning in the summer. We got the bounce. It looked like we were going to get a massive breakout. This is the bull trap right here. Right? This is the bull trap. For me, I still said, well, we still have bearish div, but we're breaking, that's amazing. But we're away from the 21-day moving average. MACD's a little high. I said, but let's go. Like, I'm bullish. Let's see what can happen here. Legislation. That candle ended up failing in closing the week, that week, as a devil top. I called them devil tops. I mean, that looks like a devil head. And it didn't look good to me. And that said no. And that looks like tweezer tops. Or we call it cat ears too. That's cat ears, on the weekly. And so that's a bearish sign that we're going back to the 21. We pulled a Fibonacci. I started saying, hey, if we go to 108, that's a highly likely area here. 107.8, 108,000. So that's the Fibonacci retracement. And I said, if you close a candle below 114,000, look for 109. I mean, that's just the facts. If you look at the weekly, and we look at the weekly every day, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day in the market, So here we are. It's all happened exactly. And then I said, if you close a candle outside the trend line, you're going lower. You're likely going lower, and you're coming back to the 21-day moving average. 21's pretty far away from the 200. Could this be the end of the rally? I have to be honest with you. There is a chance, as a technical analyst, right? Either something drastic happens and we get some, you know what I mean? And this turns into an inverted head and shoulder, which I must stay open-minded, and we get to bounce off the 21-day moving average. Sellers get exhausted and we continue this rally, right? But we could, now I'm starting to, draw the miracle toss here. It's not just a nice, easy, okay, right? This is the miracle toss. Like, you can clearly see now it's going to take a, and I don't want to say, I don't want to misuse the word miracle, but you know what I mean? Like, to accentuate the detail here and the way we describe it, it's got to take a massive, crazy, oh my God type of thing. And now the trend is clearly not your friend if you're a bull. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And you can kind of see bulls had some energy. Bulls had some energy. Bulls had some energy, but each time they were losing steam. And now it looks like it's a possible, what you'd like to see if the bear, and now the bears have more energy than they did right here. How do they get stronger at the top, right? So, and what am I saying? I'm just saying, look at the size of the candle in the movement. Like here, multiple candles, big movement. Multiple candles, big movement, but not as big as the previous one. And a bull, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 4 big waves of money coming into the market. So, it is what it is. And now you're going to close below this weekly support at 109,145. And if that happens, you have to see that your next level is down here, about 104,005. That's going to be your main area you're going to want to be looking at for price action to come down to. You might get some, a little bit of help right here at 106,000, possibly a little bounce now. If you can't bounce now off the 618 golden pocket here, 786 is waiting beautifully for you right here in this area, about 104,500. 103.5 and 104.5. And it's funny, right? CME gap barely gets filled on the beginning side. Interesting. So every step stronger, people. Yep. Calling it now, going to dig out of this to at least 11.8. Someone says we're going to dig out to 11.8, and they're calling it right now for the dig out. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm going to take it one step at a time. So the weekly, after it said, no, I'm not inside the pattern anymore, it just, and again, 68% of the time, this is going to come back down to where it began. I don't like saying that. I don't even like saying that. That sounds horrible to me. And that's a $75,000 Bitcoin. But that's just the facts of technical analysis. Like, I've got to be true to TA. I'm not true to anything else. I'm not true to sponsorship deals. I'm not true to, there's no money you could pay me to say something different. I'm not going to lie to keep the numbers up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad. I'm going to tell the truth. And again, we can make tons of money shorting the market. So it's okay. There's people in my group making boatloads of money. We've been going over the fact that this is going down. So it's not a bad thing as long as you get your mindset that everything is an opportunity and that you could take advantage of any opportunity coming your way. For me, it's hard to go bearish in such a bigger bull run, but it is what it is. Thought I would love for the bull run to go on forever. I'm very grateful for the profits I did make on Solana, Bitcoin, and the tech stocks. Amen. Only had 0.27 Bitcoin. I'm glad my ignorance sold it all at 120, nibbling the dips. Hey, God bless you, man. So let's take a look here at the 3-day. 3-day chart, also somewhat bearish, but hey, we're at a big area of resistance. This would be a bounce. Look at it. Resistance, resistance. If you're going to take a shot anywhere, this would be a great bounce. Why? I mean, you got a 618 golden pocket, basically. You're spot on. You're right on there. If I actually, yeah, right there. You're coming into it. If I match it to that wick. Bang. I mean, this is interesting, right? And then you have a lot of resistance. So this would be an area of interest that a lot of people would have had limit orders anyway because they see a lot of resistance. There's a lot of, And you can see the VRVP suggesting there's a chunk of liquidity right here. A lot of buy and sell orders, so a lot of people have liquidity here. So it definitely could propel the bounce. It definitely could. So that's the one somewhat good sign. And you are oversold in the stochastics RSI. MACD as well is pretty beat up. The daily. And I guess this is the all-time history index. It just looks funny on the MACD right now, whatever reason. Some glitch on trading views. I mean, if you look at the daily stochastics, look how they're still pointed down. This thing could still roll over. It's crazy even because we got bullish div on the indicator, and that just all it did. And again, in a downtrend, I've learned bullish and bearish divergence will play out, but they'll just give you whatever you can get to the next resistance. And I've learned, so like you make your support and resistance, which was there. So you'd say, oh, we bounced. So you say, if we lose that, we'll probably get rejected there. And then you'll find bullish div, and you'll say, yeah, great bullish div. But you'll know that you've got to get above support and resistance. Look at that. Look at this nasty candle to the downside. It almost doesn't look right to me. But it is, right? Just crazy. So if there's signs of hope, I mean, we are at a key level where the price could bounce. However, the rising wedge that was supposed to bring us to Valhalla and pump us all the way to the upside is failing. And that's kind of a sad story so far, right? I mean, it could be a bear trap. It could end up being a bear trap. There's a chance. But for the most part, I mean, it even gave you a bearish, it fell out and gave the bearish retest right there. And now it's doing the same thing at this, and this is what we were just talking about, right? At this resistance. So your next daily level, 200 moving average, and this chunk of liquidity here is somewhere at about 104,000. So you would expect to continue down and have the 200 moving average meet you somewhere at 104.8, 105K. That's your next area of interest. And again, like I said, this is an Adam and Eve double top, right? It had a little fake out nibble. Bang. I've been seeing almost all of them do this now, right? Even the other ones to the upside. And again, yes, it's usually this. But sometimes it's switched. I've seen it the other way, like it is right now. So just teaching you, like, this is a teaching moment. It's okay if we, you know, and we've gone over this many times on the channel. Okay. So I've told everybody, I have no idea where it's going. I don't know where Bitcoin's going to be tomorrow. I don't. I wish I did. I know where the odds are, and I know how to play it, and we'll go from there one step at a time, right? Like last night, it looked super bearish to me. We had a weekly screen share, which I do privately to everybody here, and like they got the insight, you know, and I showed them everything I did on my portfolio and where I was sitting. So this area is a key. Like if we don't bounce here, we're dropping to the 200 moving average to 104 and 101,000. There's going to be lower prices for Bitcoin. This is it. Facts. And even the stochastics RSI look bearish, like they're going to point us further down on the daily. So I don't love what I'm seeing. We lost the 200 moving average. We will close these candles tonight. This one will close in 9 hours. The 8-hour candle was in the 8-hour was in a bear flag below the 200 moving average. That has a measured move, which it hasn't even hit yet. Yeah, it suggests it's going somewhere to 103,000 in the middle there, and probably will fall down to 101. So more downside for Bitcoin is the likely scenario. All coins fall, sad to say. They're holding well against Bitcoin right now. They're not doing too bad, and we're going to look at some BTC pairs. And, you know, basically your last saving grace here is that like final, you know, this final possible double bottom that's, I feel like you already just broke it. Like you're you broke the double bottom now. You're now about to close a candle lower. So for me, you're looking for bear flags on the smaller time frame. All right. Just like last night, actually, I have deja vu from last night. So last night I saw this pattern. 1, 2, 3 going down. Tonight I see this pattern. Are you ready for this? Watch this. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, And that's a head and shoulder. And I know people don't believe me, but I'm telling you right now, like in the matrix of matrices, that says we're going 105,000. So I see more downside for Bitcoin. I see a dump. I say we go lower. Says we're going lower for BTC. Right. It is what it is, but that's what I see happening for Bitcoin. Okay. Altcoins aren't too bad. They're holding up pretty nicely, but this is, So do I open up a short? I mean, I think it's time. You'd be like, well, after all this, I mean, it could be time to take profits after the dump from 124,000. Isn't the end of the dump already? We've been dumping. That's a good question, just like it's the end of a pump. Like you pump from 108 to 124, you'd think there would be a pullback, which we did, right? Funny. So, but honestly, I just see more downside for Bitcoin. And we'll get confirmation in the smaller time frames by looking at this, but so that's the trade right there, just to kind of show you. It's the 1 hour. Entry is now. Stop loss is like right above this resistance, right? You have a lot of resistance right there. It's a great place to keep a stop. It's not my cup of tea because of the risk reward ratio. We got him right there. It would have been a lot better. Almost have to kind of play into that area now. It's a 2-to-1. It could extend anyway lower though and get you to that 3-to-1 there. But yeah, I believe that an entry here with a stop anywhere up in this area is a likelihood for a winner. But again, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say should be taken as financial advice. The TA says that a short is the likelihood for the play for today. So if you had a trade, your life was on the line, it tells me that a short would be the plan. I usually accumulate Bitcoin and sit on my hands, but I mean, there's some good short money out here right now coming our way. It looks like it's just going to dump right into our hands. So there you go. And again, I can see what's called a head and shoulder pattern. If you're new to trading and you don't know what it is, and I'm going to clean this up. All right. I'm going to clean it up all the way. And we'll even do the shade perfectly. But yeah, see, there's your head. And again, it's never going to be exact like the way you do it, right? But there's the head. There's your, shoulder. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? And that's just likely going to dump. Okay. The market has told you there's a 68% chance. And then the other indicators don't look good to me. There's other things. I give you an 85% chance this is going down. Okay. Hey, I could be wrong. All right, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I'm supposed to be pretty dang good at it. When I say something, it's supposed to happen. Most of the time, at least 70% of the time, I'm supposed to be right here on this channel. So I see a dump for Bitcoin. I see it going lower. I don't know what else to say for BTC. We went all the way from the weekly down. I saw this last night. I've been analyzing it for hours a day, every day, without a day off, constantly, every single day. So till it hurts my brain. But again, I love it, and I won't stop because I know what it was like to be lost in technical analysis. I know what it was like to not understand. And I want to make sure I'm here for people, especially in these times when the market's dumping. It seems like all the analysts, all the channels disappear when everything gets tough. They all want to show up when it's pumping and when there's memes to share and when they're getting tons of money to talk about garbage. But when it's time to get to the brass tacks and really get into technical analysis, a lot of these channels disappear and there's no one to be found. They all want to take a day off, call in sick. You know what I mean? I never called in sick once. I was basically the sickest I've ever been a few times, COVID, whatever you want to call it. I'd show up on this stream. You know why? Because God gave me such a beautiful opportunity, I would never squander it. Anyway, let's move forward. I see this going further to the downside. Let's get into some other charts that convey what could be happening. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance, which usually rises in tough times, but also could be dumping if people are getting rid of it, So we'll see. Is Bitcoin dominance about to dump? Maybe we're just getting a shift in liquidity in this market. So right now you're inside of a symmetrical triangle, which mainly break down. I've seen these break, they're 50-50, but I've seen these break down more than they haven't. It is sticking to a higher low though, and you're coming into the oversold region. If I had to make a call on it, I'd say this is an M, double top. This is going to go lower. So I see Bitcoin dominance about to take a bit of a fall. So what does that mean? People are going to sell off what? Well, Bitcoin dominance falls for two reasons. One, people sell out of Bitcoin, right? Number two, people sell Bitcoin for altcoins. So what we're going to look at is tether dominance. If tether dominance is rising high, then people aren't buying just altcoins so basically here's the deal. Bitcoin dominance falls and tether dominance falls. People are buying altcoins, right? Because it's basically like a gas tank. You're losing gas out of Bitcoin, you're losing gas out of tether. Where's it going? It's got to go into the altcoins. It's not leaving the crypto market, right? So but what if Bitcoin dominance falls and tether dominance rises? Now you got something on your hands where you got to be careful. All right. And this is what we're seeing. Look, and we kind of had this little flag yesterday and said, we got to watch this. Bit of an inverted head and shoulder. And the target there is 4.57. So tether dominance is starting to rise. Okay. And that's showing signs of people kind of starting to buckle up. It's a bit weird. Also, the dollar. Is the dollar getting a bit of a jump? The DXY, we'll take a look at that. Maybe the dollar has bottomed slightly. Above the 200 moving average. Getting the bounce on the 4-hour time frame, right? Tight moving averages. You see kind of the Adam and Eve here now too, right? But the other way, it has the upside down. And I have to say, it looks like we're going to get a flush out. Tether dominance looks like it's going to reach up for the daily 200 moving average, and it looks like Bitcoin's going to reach down for its daily 200 moving average. And to me, it's starting now. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm trying to position you with the best opportunities possible so you aren't sideswiped by the market, okay? So that's a pretty top-down analysis for Bitcoin. I even saw a head and shoulder that most people probably would never even identify or notice. You see what I'm saying? I think most people can see that, though. I don't think I'm the only one that can see that. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Right? So there you have it. Live trade idea projection. Looking at the bigger picture, and we've been dumping ever since. So Bitcoin. Nasty dump today all the way. Down, down, down. Tether dominance looking like it's going to go further to the upside. It tells you to watch your altcoins, to watch your Bitcoin. A flush out is coming. And everybody was super bullish, right? They told you it was up only. Now, I'm going to call, I shouldn't call people out, but if you scan through Twitter, you'll know who I'm talking about. There's a select group. There's like 5 or 6 people, and they're just like overly bullish all the time. This will change your life. Buy now, sell in December, thank me later. And I hope to gosh they're right. I really do. I hope to gosh they're right. Like you look at Solana, it was cooking. Hit that high at 217, 216. Was that it? It's in a rising wedge. You could say, well, it's a symmetrical triangle. It could go either way. For me, I feel like it broke out the rising wedge. Let's look at it, Solana, again, as open-minded as we can. But I have a long out there that's in the money right now. So what I play and what I like is when we've broken above, when we've made some down period for a while, whether it's a smaller bear or it's a longer bear market, and we break above the 200 moving average. It's a really great place to begin a position. Like right here, we dipped a little bit, we got above, you start building their position, gone. I've done it many times for many assets. It works out. The strangest thing about this market is all the things I've done for years are starting to kind of like meander in the crypto market. Like the crypto market is starting to get silly. I can't explain it. Like it's starting to dwindle. It's almost like I can't, it's almost like they know we know OTA too much, or something's changing. I'll pick up on it and we'll begin to tweak, but there's something going on. Anyway, all the tried and true strategies still work. You're above the 200 moving averages. We should have pumped. We did. The 21 follows through. Sideways. So this says we just get sideways price action all the way until the rate cut. And by the 23rd, we get an answer and we're gone. and not to worry. Like, and if that's a leading indicator of the altcoins, and it's near like a short-term all-time high. You know, I'm not saying it's at an all-time high, but a local all-time high. It has not been this high since January. Solana has not been this high. You could say, oh, fine, it may be February. Try to touch it. You see what I'm saying? Fine, it came to 200s in July, the end of July. But my whole point was, you know, July and August now, it's hit the highs that it was sitting at back here in January at the beginning of the year. And it's coming on, you know, it's going to kind of round trip itself here soon. So comes back down with this bearishness somehow, breaks 200, 190, holds though, holds whatever Bitcoin shenanigans get pulled on it, and then proceeds to go to Valhalla and hit $311. So I still got some, you know, the altcoins still look strong to me. And let's take a look at SOLBTC, which is crushing Bitcoin right now, you see? And it just actually made its big move on the 21st of August. So we're talking 8 days ago, Sol made a statement. The last time Sol went above the 200 moving average against Bitcoin, it began a massive rally. So it's interesting, like, is there going to be a separate Solana rally where Solana kind of separates it, decouples from the market in a bit, and shows itself to be kind of like something like a Palantir, a stock, you know, a Tesla of type? It's interesting. It's starting to, you know, and I'm starting to look at the framework of how the market's beginning to be, because this is why, another reason why I think it's good to be in a trading group and with different people that think about, because the market will change and how you trade it will change, and innovative thoughts can, you know, can help propel us to think differently. I mean, look at Sol Bitcoin, Adam and Eve double bottom. You see it? Absolutely beautiful. That thing says it has a bigger measured move, at least to this high volume node there. So Sol looks good against Bitcoin, which tells me we don't have to stress too much. Says the market could go back down, but it's not going to go, it's not going to implode. Now, if they were both just completely collapsing, this chart wouldn't look as strong, in my humble opinion. Let's take a look at Sol Ethereum, which was Sol was getting beat up at Ethereum. Is Sol creeping back up against Ethereum? It may have bottomed. We saw this bear flag came down. Did Sol bottom against Ethereum? So is this Sol's rally right now? Is the market leaving? It looks like money is leaving Bitcoin and going into Solana. This week, there was talk about Solana being the institutional chain. Solana ETFs. A lot of, you know, background discussions. So yes, we're seeing tether dominance rise a bit. People are getting cold feet. They're selling off. They're taking profits. They got into Bitcoin at, you know, 110, 101. They're thinking this thing could be the top. They're getting told it's over. I'm even an analyst that does it all the time, and I say this could be how a top, and it does look exactly like a top. Bitcoin moving down since we spoke at 108,250 right now. And back at 322 though, it's been volatile. So Solana against Ethereum, back to a previous Fibonacci support too. Looks like it could bounce. So it's interesting. It looks like Solana may have bottomed against Ethereum. This is very interesting. In Ethereum, Bitcoin. Just looks like a little struggle will ensue here on the 3-day. I'd look for this to go sideways, and then a massive move is coming. So it looks like just sideways chop here. Maybe a couple, maybe 104, 108. But there's still some hope here, because these offset charts that kind of have the data, they look at the data differently, right? They kind of calm you down, because you're like, well, if ETH Bitcoin, and again, you could say, well, they're both going to dump, but Bitcoin's going to dump harder. And you could say that's how ETH's going to go against Bitcoin. But usually it's the other way around. ETH's going to dump harder than Bitcoin. So if the market's going to tank, right, and Bitcoin's going to go from 100,000 to 75, then Ethereum's likely going from 4,000 to 2,000 or something. You know what I mean? At least like, if Bitcoin's going to move down 25%, Ethereum's likely going to move down 30 to 40. So then this ETH Bitcoin chart would be dumping. If this shows it's going to hold its own, the 21 coming, 200 moving average, this actually looks somewhat decent here. It tells me it's just a shakeout, and we could have ourselves a bigger move here to the upside. So It's not over just yet. I don't want everyone to panic, but it is a big flush out. And it's something we've been looking at and talking about for a while now. And I keep bringing up the fact that I just see bull posting way too much. You know, buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, buy every dip, you're in a bull run. It's just going to keep going. I mean, unless treachery out here all the time. So just be careful. Don't let yourself get influenced by what you hear online. Have a plan of your own, right? Keep yourself focused. Don't get over leveraged. You know, I really like people build all these huge positions. They see the big boys do it and they're up millions and it looks great. What you have to understand is the people that are doing that have made like 50 to 100 million already. And they're just betting like a couple million with leverage. And if they lose, they're going to lose like 1 or 2 mil and they're okay. Like they can just like whatever. Like me and you will get buried. And people without that, you know, so if you just be careful. You know, you see someone online with their big leverage trade and you want to feel that same way. You have no idea what their lifestyle really is. You have no idea how that compares, you know, and again, don't even compare it. And so never feel like, because there's angst. It's happened to me. So if it's happened to me, it's got to happen to you. And I have so much in my life. I'm able to, you know, take a deep breath and I tell myself that's ridiculous. But they flaunt the wealth. They flaunt this lifestyle. Look at my trades and, oh, you know. And again, I love it. I like big boy trades. Don't get me wrong. Like I would love to get there to that point. I'm not hating. But I just want you to don't chase these huge gains that could bury you because you're in this mindset that it has to be right now. And you have to get it because he got it like that. And it'll force you to make some bad decisions, in my humble opinion. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Another guy saying you should be taking as financial advice. But there's some good life advice there. And comparison is the death of happiness, man. It really is. So do not compare yourself to anybody for any reason. All right? Build your own life, build your own idea, and live inside that beautiful creation that you've made. You know, your painting. Everyone has a painting that they could paint and they can live in that painting. You know, what painting do you want to live in? Do you want it to be beautiful, full of flowers, love, light, and happiness? Do you want to be full of dark skies, pain, and anguish? It's up to you. If you think about problems all the time, guess what? You're going to have more of them. If all you talk about is your problems and your pain, you're going to have more problems and pain. I'm telling you right now. If you talk about solutions, ideas, and ways out, then you know what? My golly gee oh my, you're going to be the person with what? Solutions, right? Happiness and ways out. You're going to be figuring out a way to get out of your situation. So Bitcoin, I have no faith in the bulls right now at all. Everyone says reversal is coming. I'm kind of the guy that finds reversals. I just don't see it anymore. You know, we tried the first few ones a couple weeks back and they were lackluster. So it told us, they were telling us something. They were saying, hey, price action is sick. It's unable to get back to key levels. All right. Shout out to the 1,800 beautiful souls here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. And let's get up to 1,000 likes here on the channel. Always giving it to you straight. Analyzing Bitcoin, the NASDAQ, all different types of charts here for you. Today is our macro technical analysis video. Later on, I'll be putting out a video that goes over the NASDAQ, gold. Right? It's going to go over the S&P futures and everything. We already kind of touched on a little bit with the dominance video here. So if you're digging out, you could make this inverted head and shoulder here. I do see it. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. You've got to get above like the 30. Let's say I'm back on the 5-second chart again. Reversals can start here. Look, that is a complex inverted shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. Boom. To the upside, right? Resistance right there at about 108,506. All right, 108.5 makes 100%. I mean, that's psychological. People are going to buy that zone. People are going to stress that zone. It's going to happen. Shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. You ever watch the 5-second chart? Because you want to see that you breach the 200. Then you're going to breach the 200 in the 30-second. I'm not doing this for shenanigans or fun. I'm doing this for, just, to really show you what could be happening here. I'm still more bearish on Bitcoin. But we did touch the nice low at 108,160. For me, I'm not buying anything till we get above the 30-second, even the 1-minute 200 moving average. which would be somewhere back at 109.7. You would miss a lot of the pumps. So I guess you'd have to take an aggressive entry here if you want to catch the absolute bottom. I'm all set. Not today. Normally I would be doing that, not on a Friday, and not after all the shenanigans I've seen. I am all set. Okay, so yeah, so we're watching this very closely. And again, if you look at it really, really closely, I kind of still see like shoulders, head, shoulder, shoulder. Like I just see a bearish head and shoulder pattern. And remember, we haven't stopped on the bigger one that we've already showed you earlier today. So we covered some bases. It looks like we are going lower for Bitcoin. And I'm looking at the level at about 107,000 for BTC. Shout out to everybody here on the channel. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate everybody that trades with the Lifer. If you use any of my links, I appreciate it. Shout out to anyone that traded on Weeks, BitTinex, BTCC, or MEXC. Appreciate it. Yeah, and let's take a look at gold. We've talked about gold many times. And gold was in a beautiful bull pennant saying it was about to break out to the upside. Let's take a look how big it went. It went up huge, huh? And we looked at that, right? We see this tight price action. And we talked about gold last week, right? And I said, look for gold to stay right in the circle. Either go sideways. It could possibly break out. Gold breaking out. I see gold headed to $3,800 an ounce. And that's interesting. Like, how is gold going up, right? And then so you look at the DXY. And this is what we're going to do on the macro video. And the DXY is actually dropping too with Bitcoin, which is kind of strange. So there's either currency devaluation on the back end between like China and Russia. Probably something going on there. Right? Shout out to Crypto Billy in the house. How many times have we seen this go up and down? 100%. So Bitcoin dumps, but alts don't dump as hard. It's a good sign that altcoins aren't dumping as hard. Says we're going down to 107,000. You can see all that liquidity. Even 106 now is into play. We do have 112.5 on the board, but man, yeah, I'd have to say it looks like we're going lower than higher for Bitcoin. It's only escape from the debt spiral. So Bitcoin dumps, but alts don't dump as hard. Yep. Let's take a look at if there's any alts that are like really fighting off this dump harder than we would believe. See what's up in the last hour, and you can just kind of see Pump Fund in the last hour is up 2%. So that's kind of holding. Chainlink staying at 23, which has a lot of bullish news this week. It was kind of crazy. Really carried the market. Atom staying really, to me, is bottomed at 450. I don't think anyone's willing to sell it anymore. Too many people have staked their Atom like me. Cardano struggling back at 82 though. And Aerodrome back at 114 after that massive move up. Good sell, Crypto Billy, man. Hyperliquid at 44. It's been a tough market to fulfill like the bigger 10x dreams. It's just been an ebb and flow constantly. SWE, Solana back at 207, but Solana strong. Really holding it. Volta, I like this coin. I've talked about it a few times. SEI, 16%. Pendle. DeFi still somewhat strong with Cake holding it too, you know. Render 348. So, okay. Not the worst market in the world. Altcoins aren't too bad, but, you know, definitely a sea of red if you take a look at them in the day, right? But it could be worse. And that camp did finally get a bit of a pump today. People were sweating that, thinking it's going to be the big one. It's at the very bottom of its barrel. Here's the bot, too. The bot there. Now the bot is underwater again, but the bot almost never misses. It actually has never missed. So let's see if the bot has what it takes to get itself out of this one again, or if it believes we're just going to get a quick bounce. This could just be like right here. It makes sense. You got this low. You'd sweep this liquidity down here. Rip it right back to the upside. But to me, I just see lower lows coming. I mean, I see bear flags that have broken and have basically, I'm all about the measured move. When I see the measured move, it is what it is. Yeah. M2 all-time high rising, rate cuts coming, yields going down, trillions in money market funds. You're crazy if you think we go bear market. It is just fear. It's going down until all fear is out. I mean, yes and no. Moved a massive wad of fiat to bonds last week, moving to protection mode. Interesting. Really? Moving fiat to bonds. 1 or more year max, bro. People kicking granny down the stairs. Spartans. Oh, man. People can't afford groceries. Let's pack up the bull market and short it over. See ya in 2028. It's possible. My Minotaur got that last dip. Yep. Sammy, I was offline. How did the data come out today? It came out. Let's take a look. So it came out bullish, right? I mean, it came out basically what it was. So forecasted at 0.3. It came in month over month at 0.3. They were spot on, right? Bang. Even Canada's GDP month over month was on, right? Goods trade balance, though, negative 103 billion, right? So a little higher than forecast, which is not the best, right? Personal income month over month, right? Forecast and higher than previous. And stock, it wasn't lower. That's a good sign. Personal spending, exactly at forecast and higher than previous. It's a good sign. Preliminary wholesale inventories month over month, up. I think that's a good sign. Chicago PMI down. So mixed signals, but for the most part, shows that the economy is somewhat strong. All right. It's interesting, right? That's a little, the trade balance isn't the best. Big boys went under 100. Gotta let them get in one more time. I actually don't buy Bitcoin. Simply I convert fiat. My job gives me into the real money. BTC. I love it. It's got the green bean soon. We got to keep the faith. You're funny. Anything is possible. I'm open-minded. I just stay here and tell you guys what I see happening. Shout out to all the beautiful people here that believe in crypto, that love crypto, that would hit the Crypto Lifer channel. If you're new to the channel, put a 444. If you've never come to the channel before, let me know. Say I'm new and I'm a lifer now. Shout out to all the lifers out there. My name's Sam Price. I started trading 20 years ago, basically, when I was in my beginning 20s. I'm 42. 22 years old, I started dabbling and researching stock in the stock market. I said, I'm going to make it big in the markets, and then I researched Jesse Livermore, all the greats, and I said, man, I'm going to become one of the greats in this market. And I set on my way to do so, right? So, I'm the guy that, loves to call these bottoms, loves to go after it. Been doing it for a while here. And so, we got this beautiful bottom here. Got some divvy on the stochastics RSI. It says this 15 minutes going to make an inverted head and shoulder. That is just a flush. And we can long this long right here. And you can kind of see your exact measured move, because if it makes it, you want to get to the target, right? That's about 113,008. So I'd long to 113.8. Makes sense to me, right? And I keep my stop pretty low at about 107,868. I want to see if you can go 789, because below 108,000 would be key. And you go 359 for 2,000, right? So it's a 9-to-1 risk-reward ratio. You catch this puppy, you could turn 300 into 27. You can risk 300 for 2,700 bones. So Sammy out of nowhere talks a bunch of bearishness and then longs the bottom. I don't know what's going on. But I do what my trader instinct tells me to do. Sometimes it just tells you what to... I can't explain it. And look, I'm going for this red liquidation here. I'm going for these guys. I'm coming for you. Whoever you are up there, Sam Price is coming for you. I've said it, and I've let it be known. I'm coming up there to get you. It's only a matter of time. We're coming to get you at 113.3, and hopefully you get some spillover for Bitcoin. What goes down that fast must come up so fast. It's unlikely in my lifetime, right? Even that one down, we had a pretty nice move back up. So can we just get something here? Show me an inverted head and shoulder, and let's get paid. $56,000 trade on the move. Let's see if we can get this move. I'm trading Weeks, baby, Weeks. Shout out to my Weeks people, man. Shout out to the Weeks team and everybody over at Weeks. God bless you. They're all around the world, man. And shout out to everybody over at Weeks. It's a live trade here on Weeks. We're trading Bitcoin with light levy, 62x levy with a margin of $900. Okay? Turning it into a $56,000 trade. Again, do not use leverage that you're not comfortable with. Please do not do this demo trade for a while. I really caution you. And don't even do it if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't know how to trade, if you don't have control of your emotions. I do this every single day, constantly. I told you I'm the king of 3%. All right? But seriously, you know, I know. You don't know what to say. It's funny or is it not? I don't know, right? You know, but it is what it is. It's the truth. So, stochastics curving to the upside suggests a big pump is coming. We may have caught the saw some bottom here, back to the upside. Reclaim broken support. I'll join in the following pullback. Okay, I like what you're saying. Smart move with less risk. Yeah, I'm taking the aggressive long. He's looking for the less aggressive, which is smart. There is a less risky entry here if he can wait for maybe a retest of a key area. The lad's called finding longs and shorts and longs. The market does not move one way. The market changes quickly, and he's out here teaching you how to see it. Be grateful. Shout out to Tony, man. Thank you so much for saying that, man, and sticking up for me. God bless you. Fed chair candidate Waller says, as of today, I expect further rate cuts within the next 3 to 6 months. Exactly. Waller is going hard. He doesn't want to be seen as the guy that gets the book thrown at him. I think he's going for the top spot. I think he wants to be the next chair because he's saying what Powell wouldn't say. Isn't that interesting? And so he knows when the tides turn, it'll be him. I think I'm seeing something. Maybe, am I reading through the lines here or am I crazy? I'm smoking a cigar, watching it all play out. Hello from Colombia. Shout out to Renee. God bless you. And you were a bear, man. I have to say, or not a bear, but maybe a realist. And now we're back to break even. We'll see. And I could easily lose this trade too. Don't put what you're not willing to lose in the trade. So we've covered ETH Bitcoin, the DXY, talked about a bunch of different things here in the market. Great live. You're the man. Shout out to Barbara, Trader Joe. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in, keeping it positive and amazing. No cut in September would crush the markets. It would really be what we want, though, right? Big love to Crypto Live for the most consistent guy in crypto. Shout out to Jay Doolin. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. August must close green for Bitcoin, so we have 2 days to pump. Let's go. I know it's kind of crazy, but like, and let's just take a look at that monthly close for a split second here. Pointing on Bitfinex. Yeah, I mean, that monthly is going to be a tweezer top. That's a bearish close. And then that tells me that we're going to come revisit. Maybe we get a green candle and we explode. Anything is possible. The one thing I will give you is just beautiful resistance on the month, 102.5. So that's going to, the bears are going to have a really hard time getting above monthly support. I mean, getting below monthly support. You know? I mean, that time they crushed it, right? But both times, really. Like, no, just went right. I mean, came back for the retest, though. The key is that the bears don't have much. I mean, they can only have so much time, right? So I'm going to give you some hopium here that's going to blow your mind. So look at the bears pattern. You can see the last time the bears gave it everything they got, right? So they give it everything they got. They can still only take it to 57,000. You see what I'm saying? And then Bitcoin likely starts another run. Off the Fibonacci. So like, you know, and I'd be able to get way more Bitcoin than I've ever thought possible. I would be able to probably double the stash that I had and when I didn't think I could. So I should look at this as a beautiful opportunity for me and my family to make existential wealth in the long term. If I'm able to ever get a $56,000 Bitcoin again. This is somewhat possible. It looks almost identical to what could happen. Look at it. It's crazy, right? That would be perfect. That would make exact sense. That would be like every chart I've ever seen in my life. A huge rip, a move back to the 618 golden pocket. Like what you know what I mean? What would be so bad about that? There would be hidden bullish. Right? There would be some hidden bullish divergence. The Stokes would be reset. It would be everything that I actually go for, like on this pump and that pump. So I'm not trying to say this is guaranteed. We'll see what happens. But man, that market structure would make sense to me. And then it says, 2029, you're at 170,000. Kind of crazy, right? But it could happen, man. And everyone, we had a huge pump. We went from 15,000 all the way to $122,000. We almost did a 10x for Bitcoin. I mean, it's pretty crazy. There's some massive bearish div, and we're away from the moving averages. So if the monthly closes like this, that's going to be a bearish sign. But everybody can't let go. They got everybody, just like here, they got everybody stuck in thought that we're going to 100K. Everyone thought 100K here. They didn't sell. They got dumped on. We got the double top, and then they thought 100K again. It was clear bearish divergence away from the 21-day moving average, just like now. The monthly suggests that we do have to reset somewhere back to 80,000, at least testing that resistance there or the support there at 102.5. So I'm not a fan of this monthly candle. Miracle toss, something happens out of nowhere, I guess. So be it, right? But that's going to be the way out, right? So we're watching to see if I called the bottom here today on the channel. A chance, or I got in at the bottom, I took the high probability that the charts gave me. Does that make me call the bottom? I guess I called the bottom. A human being bought at the bottom due to probability. Does that make me the guy who called it? I guess that's what everyone gets to say. I called it. I called the bottom. Look at me. If you're live on the channel with me, there's a chance we bought pretty dang close to the bottom. Let's see. I see a possible inverted, fast move down, fast move up. I've seen a lot of this before in my life. It's giving me deja vu. So I've had deja vu of this exact area being a bottom. Even something looks just like this with heavy volatility on the day on a Friday. Crazy. And I said I usually don't trade Fridays, and here I am trading live in front of you guys. And I said to my group, but I usually don't trade Fridays. I'm just telling you the truth. I just happen to be trading today. Shout out to everybody here on the live. I trade live. My name's Sam Price. I do live trades here on the channel, showing you my tips, tricks, and strategies and things that I see that are likely going to happen to the market. Okay? Blow off is coming. Everybody is looking at the last cycle and thinks it'll be the same way. Link goes to around 18 if it falls, mate. For the first time ever, an IBTC deposit was used as collateral in Virtue, unlocking 5 VUSD loan. This marks the very first on-chain DeFi loan with Bitcoin on IOTA. That's pretty cool, man. I like hearing stuff like that. When you live in the market and do it day in and day out, you see the moves before they happen. You see the matrix. 100%. Shout out to Milligan's Travels. Hey, Sammy, in silver in a big cup and handle on the monthly chart. Yes, it is, yeah. Shout out to Sam for showing up every single day. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Bitcoin lifers. That's awesome. I am learning consistency from Sam. Just keep going no matter what. 100%. Somehow showing up every single day will beat out the competition. Other people just can't do that. If you commit to consistency, somehow you're going to win. Because you're going to be in the right mindset. You're not going to be out drinking with people. You're not going to be out wasting your time. When you do hang out, it's going to be really good time that you spend that's documented and relaxed time that you really use to have a good time. You know what I'm saying? I need some lifers in class with me tomorrow morning with Sam Price, Cup and Andy. Let's have some fun. Oh, we got a bunch of lifers in class. Class is filling up fast. We have class tomorrow morning, everybody. I work on a Saturday morning. That's how much I love what I do. I could take every Saturday off, but I don't. I work my butt off. On Saturday, we're going to have fun. And we're going to have this class. I'm going to teach it. It's for 9 to 12:30. We're going to have a blast. EDT. That's New York City time. Make sure you have that kind of figured out for where you live in your time zone. Hit the QR code. There's still a lot of time to jump on into class. Educate yourself. You spend $150 on many things. This you'll have for the rest of your life. It'll be knowledge that you keep forever. So spend 3 hours with the lifer. People spend $300 for 1 hour. That's $150 for 3.5 hours. It'll blow your mind. And I've taken these courses this information, I have learned it from a lot of different places, and I put it together and then my own sauce. And they've charged me $2,000, $3,000 for this information. I am providing it for $150 at a very amazing, affordable cost. It's such a time when people can't afford things at a high cost. So I'm not gouging for $3,000, $4,000. I could make those $3,000 courses, right? Get $1,000 to pay, 1,000 people to pay for it, make $3 million. Of course. Why not? You know what I mean? Go buy myself a Bugatti and ride off into the sunset. And maybe I will one day. Who knows? I'm not saying I'm opposed to selling education, but Take advantage of it then while before some big whale comes on me and says, hey, we're going to turn you into a skull and blah, blah, blah. Sign here on the dotted line, you know, which I hope I never do. But my whole point is $150 is amazing. Jump on in today. Look at the QR code. Find out more. I'm telling you right now, before one day it disappears. It's an amazing opportunity to learn the information that I put together over a 12-year career of mastering technical analysis. Thank you to Master Friend. Look for those 786. Take the trade from a while back. Looking to make enough this year to become a lifer. God bless you. You will. You can always count on Sam. So much appreciation. May God bless you and your family. God is king. Thank you. God is king. God is more than king. God is it all. God is the frequency. God is the one. The never ending. Right? And now we're underwater on the trade. Looks like this end up may becoming a buried zone. The monthly looks like it's going to bury us down to the 21-day moving average. This looks like it could be a freak, this month might close, and then the next September just a bludgeon. September is a horrible month for Bitcoin, known to be a bludgeoning month, known to be absolutely horrible. Oh my gosh, it starts to look like a head and shoulder pattern is brewing here. Might be the last chance to get out at 97, 98,000 there when we get a bounce. Yikes. Anyway, we'll play it one day at a time. If it starts to reverse and we get the pump, we'll be there. Somehow, some way, we'll be hanging on like the edge of a helicopter. But right now, no. Waiting to buy the dip, Sam. Thanks for the knowledge, man. Yeah. Sammy, cup in handy. Why should I spend money on you? Sell me. Honestly, I don't like to do that. I don't like to sell you. Just show up on the stream every day. And if you get so much knowledge that you want to get more, then join the Discord. What the Discord does provide, it provides tools, tips, and tricks, and things that you may not have. Once I go over a bunch of things in Tokenmetrics that I pay for, it's, $3,000 for the NFT Advanced, and it's like $99, it's somewhere $80 to $90 a month. I provide a lot of information there that I rehash and figure out, and, so that's a beautiful value. Then I also go over what coins are hitting the exchanges and when. We have exchange announcements and whale alerts right here provided for you, so you don't have to go find them. They're right there, all alerts for you. Tells you what coins are hitting the exchange and when, and a lot of coins can hit an exchange and pump. Like shipping is just hitting MEXC at 9 a.m. this morning, and Corona, look, CNV has been listed on Bitmarket. You know what I mean? Just information so you can understand what's happening in the market. On top of that, we have all the people that are in the group that are posting and talking, right? And they're on point because it's a very disciplined group. And you can see people are posting their gains. Like this guy was shorting Solana for 213% at 300x, right? And people were talking, going over what's happening, going over the market. More gains being posted here. Pepe short, right? Or close along on Pepe. Wow. And there's a lot of awesome top traders, too, that will help and guide you, that are lifers. Then there's what I post is my charts and videos every day. And then I chart altcoin charts and videos all the time, when I'm looking at mainly charts. I even post my scalps, my NASDAQ futures trades, right? And then there's elite charters inside my group that are another group of people that are scanning the market all the time. And they're posting things as well, things that they see. And they've been trained by me for years. So it's an amazing eclectic group of people. And I'm probably skipping some other stuff. There's also an entire course in there, a content directory that has a lot of things that I do teach in my class. And this people are charging thousands of dollars for, and that you get to me right when you get in. And these are videos, tips, a video series on Fibonacci, support and resistance, set up your trading tools, fractals, stochastics masterclass 1 and 2, support and resistance bootcamp, 21-day moving average crosses the 200, 4-hour time frame, head and shoulders, price action versus indicators, the making of a trade, deep dives, library, and more. I mean, all for $99 a month. It's insane. I don't see a better. Anyway, so there you go. I hope I sold it pretty good. I think it's awesome. Go to cryptolifer.com to find out more. I think that's the best I ever sold it, and I didn't even want to sell it. So hit subscribe and find out more. I would suggest the annual or the quarterly to get it for less than $3 a day. And I'm here every single day on top of my live trades. If I just did my live trades, I did. And every single week I do a weekly screen share where I share my entire portfolio, go over mental status, what we're doing, talk about the ups and downs, and break down the week ahead and the week that we just had. And I'm here every single day and I don't take a day off. And we stream 7 days a week. I don't know what else you want, baby. Tempted to call the bottom, but it does look short. So I called the short, but then tried to call the bottom. All right. You can see how optimistic I am. I don't like to short Bitcoin. It's tough to short an asset that you've been buying a lot of, right? Looks like we may be in for a doozy here, though. Low Stochastic says there's a chance we get a bit of a bounce. So I'm looking for that bounce. That's what I'm trying, Yeah. Sam class was better than any paid class I tried out and paid for. Thank you for saying that. I hope you paid for a lot of them. I mean, I hope not, but I hope you did. He forgot he got ninjas in there too. Shout out to Master Friend. Then we also have Master Friend that can teach and do amazing things with what he does. We have Leverage Mastery. And I just don't want to upsell people in a tight spot right now. But at the same time, I think it's an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. So check it out. Leverage Mastery inside the group. And you'll see that at CryptoLifer.com, though. If they go to CryptoLifer.com, that is there for them to kind of check out and look at. But hit the QR code to find out more, man. My man, Master Friend. He'll teach you leverage at another level. Really, like things that I never even thought possible, he put in my mind. And I would never be able to, like, you know what I mean? Awesome, awesome man. So I pay homage to the people that are beautiful and awesome and that really put their life into trading. If you love trading like we do, if trading is your everything, if you're not giving up, then you're going to come to this place and you're going to want to be with us. If you're sick of losing and you're going to win no matter what, you're going to dig in and you're going to fight for what's right. To party. And I'm just, But seriously, get me out of that one. But shout out to Master Friend. Check them out. Find out more. God bless you guys. Stop losing your leverage trade, friends, and join us and learn more. Okay. Let's see if we can get this puppy to rip. It'll be so cool to win this awesome, legendary bounce back to the upside here. Sam and Master Friend duo in the community, full of wisdom, insight, but most of all, they genuinely care about seeing their students succeed. You won't regret it. I'd rather have a small group of succeeding students than a large group of people in and out. You know what I mean? I'd like to really work with my group. $99 a month really keeps you honest, keeps you coming back if you're serious and not wasting time. If it's, I did a $25 group, $50 group, I got a lot of people that wasted time, everybody. So I had 300 people that cared and another 300 people. I'd rather have 300 people for $99 than 600 people in at $50. You know what I'm saying? And so we learned that and we strategized. And I said, you know what? I'm a money guy and I like making money and I don't mind online education. I'm an online educator, 100%. I'm a businessman, but I want to do it in a way that makes my teaching feel like it's really, really resonating. All right. The 99 is well worth it, says Andrew Nurkovic. So much, so one can say Sammy, $4.99 minus Google, Uncle Sammy, via the gains of the knowledge, So much so one can get $4.99 minus Google, via the gains of knowledge in the community. Yeah, he just wants to tell you for $4.99 that he believes in the group. Shout out to Andrew. Thank you so much for your love, man. The TV you have is hilariously militant, 100%. Yeah, if you aren't sure, I highly recommend just continuing to show up here on YouTube and watch Sam. Keep an open mind, and when being here on the channel, it's not about calling it, it's about probability. Yeah, thank you. Anyone, it's good to have a payment that keeps you accountable. Sam makes a decent buck to share his wealth of knowledge and also gives us accountability to show back up. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, too. Like, I got to show up, too, because of it goes both ways. So, a little bit of a bounce there. We're back in the green, hanging out, no emotions. Just trading what we see. Low stochastics. I mean, banana curving. That should pump. Stochastics alone should give us a move. And someone sends a super chat our way with 777s, which is cool. Sending infinite abundance your way. Thanks for showing up again today. And it's great to see you at 100,000 subscribers. PAXGBTC. Funny, you would see PAXG probably beat up on Bitcoin, considering Bitcoin dumped and gold was doing damage. And there's Pax Gold on BTG for BTC. Still down in the dumps. I mean, Bitcoin is just beat up on gold so bad it don't matter. All right, so look at this. Like, it looks like some of the altcoins, though, that are attempting their bounce back. Looks like there'll be a little bit of a pump. But definitely comes back to resistance there, right? A little bit of a move back up again, yeah. And gold is on a tear right now. So, boomers want me to pull up my bootstrap, so I'll pull up my BTC instead. You're funny, man. I'm in now too, Sammy. Got my confirmation. Shout out to Jay Will. Sammy, I love what you said the other day. If you're not working on your plan, then you're working on somebody else's plan. Love that, man. It's true. See, I sat there in life and I was like, okay, I'm doing good. I'm just moving forward, you know, and then one day I met Jim Rohn online. I didn't meet him in person. And he said some things that hurt my feelings, things that my dad didn't say to me. My dad was actually pretty harsh though, which was good. So they coupled with some of the things my dad said. And things that I wish I had a mentor telling me every day. And he said to me, if you're not part of it, you're making your own plan. And I kept saying, and every day I got on to work and I got on the train. And I'll be honest, it made me a little depressed every time I stepped on that train. And then I'd meet people that I knew that were like making their plans, starting a business, entrepreneurs. And I was like, why am I going to work? And that guy is doing his plan. He's doing what he loves. I said, when is my life going to be? I'm going to make all the money I ever dreamed of doing what I love. And I actually prayed for it. And I begged God for it. I really did. I said, God, please, I want a life where I don't feel like a slave. And I never asked for tons of money. And I never wanted to be filthy rich. I just wanted to be free. You know, and I guess like that comes with the territory. Once you really push yourself mentally and you break away from the quote unquote matrix, as anyone wants to call it, or just the day-to-day 9 to 5 that people get caught in, you start to make a move, right? I've been lost trading for a while. This channel and the lifers within taught me everything I had been looking for. Highly recommend the lifer group. Shout out to James Quick. It's very nice of you to say, and I don't pay people to say this stuff, man. He says, buy now, take profit is 110,207, says Nugan Dwy. I hope that guy's on point. Bitcoin is bouncing from the December high. Sam, I love what you said the other day. Thank you. It's the freaking weekend, baby, about to dump it. Some fun. You're funny, right? Yeah. So PAXG looks like a double bottom. Looks like it is going to head to the 200 moving average on the 5-day. Looks pretty interesting. And we made a live trade here on the channel, attempting a bounce here on the 15-minute, but now it's every bounce has just been wow, wow, wow. Could make a bear flag and double over, right? He said, true words, I've done it also. Make your life a holiday. Yeah, I used to think life had to be so hard. And it does. It's hard work and discipline to live the life of your dreams. You know, I don't go out drinking. I don't have tons of friends. I'm not partying all the time. You know, I live by my obligations. I pray every night. I thank God for everything I have in the morning and everything I have at night. First thing out of my mouth is thank you, dear Lord, for everything you've given me. I'm sure sometimes I slip up, but 90% of the time. And when I go to bed at night, I spend some time. And if I hit the jacuzzi alone, I sit there and I ask God, I say, thank you for everything in my life. And thank you for my kids being healthy. Right now, if I made 50 grand on a trade in front of you guys right now, and one of my kids was sick in the hospital or sick for any reason, I don't even like saying that, but for whatever reason, I don't think I'd be too happy about the 50 rack. I'd be like, okay, it's cool. One thing went well in my life, but I'm not, I'd be pretty concerned, right? And if I made, so my whole point is if your kids aren't healthy, it's hard to almost enjoy anything. Like it's hard to enjoy a steak. It's hard to go out. It's hard to go to the beach. This live stream would be tough. So I pray to God that my kids always stay healthy for me and for my life and for them, right? For our whole family. And anyone out there that's dealing with something like that, may everything work out for you. Okay. And this is why I love this channel. God bless everybody here on the channel. And I love cars so much I bought a Napa store just so I could go get the parts I needed on Sunday. Just make it happen. Yo, you own a Napa. Napa's pretty cool, man. I like that. Yeah, it's like I need to go get his stuff. All right, they're in the back right now. I can go grab it. You actually have 100,000 friends here on the channel. Shout out to my man, Sledgehammer. I know. God bless you, brother. Thank you. And there's also a lot of lifers, man, people that pick me up. And tonight we're having a lifer dinner to celebrate 100,000 subscribers here in CS the Key. And people, a couple of people, I believe, flew into Florida for it. And it's not a huge dinner, about 10 people coming. But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be extravagant. This place is amazing. It's a 4-course French dinner. It's going to be absolutely insane. Steaks, scallops, all sorts of craziness. Chocolate mousse and an amazing dessert selection. It's out of control. And I'm excited. Shout out to if you're coming tonight. And if you're not coming and you're disappointed, I'm so sorry. Please don't be sad. There'll be many other times in somehow, way, shape, or form. And if we're meant to meet, we will meet. I can't say it any other way, but if me and you are meant to meet, we will meet. It will happen. So tonight is going to be an awesome night. I can't wait to see everybody who's coming. It's going to be a blast. So God bless you all. Thank you. I'm going to sign out just a tad early because today I do the video, the recording of the macro technical analysis video. All right. And I'll keep you guys updated as to what I see happening in the charts throughout the day here. And so stay inside the trading group in the Discord. I don't stop. And tomorrow we teach class the last Saturday of every month. And it's here again. I can't believe it. Jump on and hit the QR code to jump on into class today to change your life. You'll absolutely believe it. All right. I'm still going to go to Burns and take J Soul. I have not canceled Burns Steakhouse. I just want J Soul to know that. All right. He just lives in Tampa, and you know what I mean? Anyway, I mean, he could come if he wanted to. I don't want to put him out of his way. I want to go when it's near him and easy. All right. You should invite me, man. I'm right up the street. I mean, I put out an email to everybody in the trading group. I wanted anyone who was in the trading group to really come. You know what I mean? If someone's a paying member of the group, they're the first people I want to come. You know what I mean? And I also didn't want to put the address out to anyone that wasn't already a paying member, because if you're a paying member, I technically have your address too, right? You know what I mean? Because if you paid, if you paid in with a credit card, you know, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Not that I would ever, I'm just, you know, I'm in Jacuzzi every night and I love that thing. God bless you, right? Yeah, Burns is amazing. Anyway, I love you all. Thank you so much for coming. May God bless everybody. And again, that's the reason with that's the problem with the payment system this time in it. Like if I go buy a shirt online, someone has my credit card information, right? You hope that your merchant is a good person and, you know, won't leak your data and all that other stuff. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy. You know, we use Stripe, whatever, so it's a Stripe, you know, and Stripe is very secure. But it's all good, Sammy. No worries, brother. God bless you and the lifers. Have an awesome time. God bless you, J-Soul. Someone said, why did you decide the long? I saw a banana curve on the stochastics RSI here on the 15-minute, which is still sustaining and very oversold. See, 2 dumps in a bullish divergence on the stochastics RSI. So, yeah, that's the main reason. Just divergence. I saw a divergence, you know. I could be wrong. It does look bearish on the bigger time frame, you know. When you're Cali, we're going to the Ranch Steakhouse with the West Coast lifers. Amen. Sam, I'd love to be in your group, but in Brazil, 100 is too much. No worries, man. God bless you, brother. One day it'll all make sense for you, I'm sure. Fortune favors the brave. Fortune favors the bold. 100%. 100%. Tonight will be an amazing dinner. I can't wait. God bless everybody that hangs out. Yeah. Banana curve over the 200 a man. I love this guy. And, you know, it's starting to look like somewhat of a bottom here. Some higher lows cluttering on in there. So we'll see. Looks like we're going to get at least up to the 200. Bit of a shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder. Again, attempting to dig in one more time here. Looks like we could pump up at least to 109.3, and then we'll go from there. We're back in the green on the trade. Sammy's back in the green, baby. I'm going to record the technical analysis video right now and get it done. And, yeah. God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here and sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Thank you so much for being amazing, awesome lifers. Thank you much for one of the biggest streams we've had in a long time. 1,800, 1,900, almost 2,000 people here in the stream. Unbelievable. May I get the likes up to the watchers? I would greatly appreciate it. We'll see what happens to this live trade inside the trading group. We'll keep you up to date if we get the bounce or we continue down. It doesn't look amazing. I have to admit, I'm going on a Hail Mary bounce here. It is more likely that we get the dump, but we'll see, right? We'll see. We're pretty oversold, so I'm buying some fear to see if we can get a bounce, but it doesn't always work. So God bless everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you all for being here. I'll catch you tomorrow morning for a quick update, and then Saturday night for another awesome stream. May God bless you all, and thank you so much for being here. You mean more to me than you would ever know. I can't believe we got to 100,000 together and beyond. Shout out to Master Friend, Rave Song Records, Crypto Billy, Jamal Antonio, Randy Alwis, Life the 99%, Teddy Bear, all my beautiful people, Cash Oak, Lift the 99, right? Renee Montenegro, right? Montenegro, yeah. Talking about Bill Clinton over here. Ahmed Nami. And monthly close will be on Sunday with the weekly close together. We do that together. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So thank you for being a part of something amazing. Thank you for being a crypto lifer. May God bless you. I could never, ever, ever fully express my gratitude and appreciation, but I'll do my best. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll see you guys in the trading group throughout the day. God bless. The secret to success is getting started. It is what it is. You got to start somewhere. I'm waiting for you. God bless. CryptoLifer.com. I'll see you on the inside. Gonna go up. Bitcoin gonna go up. Bitcoin gonna go up. Luke, I am your father.